Hi, I'm Olivia Butch, and tonight we'll be discussing climate in France and America and the differences in their government's actions to take on what the changes are happening and what changes need to happen. To kind of sum up my presentation, we're going to delve into, I have here the general topics of what my slides will be about. First, I'm going to discuss the general climates in both biomes. Then we're going to see the similarities and differences between the country's fund and their care for the changes that are happening. To start off with, let's look at their natural and general climates, environments, and weather. According to About France, depending on weather patterns, climate zones can expand for periods of time due to France's smaller size compared to the US. For example, if oceanic, you can see it down there, oceanic weather is carried from west to east, most of the country can experience those conditions. And in this map of France, you can see that there are 5 different climate zones: oceanic, semi-oceanic, mountain, continental, and Mediterranean, and they're all color-coded. For the US, the general climate is a lot harder to sum up because it's such an expansive country. But you can see that the zones range from tropical to desert to continental and to even the highlands. So the winters in France are strongly impacted by the wind we learned about in Yeren province, which is called the Mistral. It's a strong, cold, and dry wind that blows in winter for periods from just a few days to even up to a few weeks. The winters in the US range a bit more. The southern states are fairly mild, usually without snow for the most part. In the north, northeast, plain states, and the western mountains, weather conditions are often very cold with heavy snow, and sometimes there are often sub-freezing temperatures. For France, summer is generally warm or hot in most of the country, but July and August can become muggy and sticky in the Paris area and scorching in valleys of Provence, according to France Travel Guide. Summers in America are very similar but very different. In the southern states and plains, they're hot and humid, while the southwest is quite hot and dry. A big trademark of California and Florida are endless summers. In the Pacific Northwest and New England states, summers are warm with cool mornings and pleasant evening conditions, for the most part. Severe weather in France, as I was told by our very own Dr. Landry, aren't nearly as expansive as the US. They've experienced floods and thunderstorms, but more recently they've endured tornadoes and snowfall, which for their area is pretty uncommon. And the tornadoes they had several years ago were quite devastating. For the US, being such a big country, we have various ranges of severe weather. Thunderstorms are normal in the spring and summer months, and most of the nation, while in the central states, tornadoes are also a very common thing in the spring and summer months as well. Hurricanes can also strike the eastern coastline and the Gulf of Mexico states between June and October, causing much damage in forms of life and property. These can also include floods, hailstorms, and mighty winds. California is a big hotspot for earthquakes since it rests on the San Andreas fault line that travels through 1,200 kilometers or a little over 745 miles of the state. France's annual precipitation is more than 50 inches in the areas with higher elevations, such as western and northwestern France, as I learned from Encyclopedia Britannica. As for America's annual precipitation, the statewide averages of annual rainfall plus snowfall range from a high of 63.7 inches in Hawaii to a low of 9.5 in Nebraska. For the entire U.S., excluding Hawaii and Alaska, the average amount of precipitation is 30.21 inches, and these statistics come from current results. France is much more eco-friendly and eco-aware than the USA. On July 6, 2017, the Minister for the Ecological and Inclusive Transition presented the government's climate plan. Drawn up at the request of the President and Prime Minister, this calls on the government departments across the board to step up the pace of the energy and climate transition and of the Paris Agreement's implementation throughout the 5-year term, coming from government.fr. Because of the Paris Agreement, French citizens will be able to play an active part in climate-oriented initiatives, with participatory budgeting being set up in particular. Support will be lent to residential areas that would like to produce and use their own renewable energy resources. such as biogas and solar energy, etc. Also from government.fr. France is also starting to lean away from fossil fuels and trying to commit to a non-carbon or a carbon-neutral approach. They aim to achieve carbon neutrality by 2050 and have greenhouse gas-emitting vehicles taken off the market by 2040. They even have an entire political party centered around ecological problems and resolutions, Ecologie Les Verts, also known as the Greens, who are a central-left party. In America, these things have gone very downhill at least as far as protecting the environment goes. The Trump administration has dropped climate change from a list of global threats in a new national security strategy, also known as NSS. Instead, Trump's NSS paper emphasized the need for the U.S. to regain its economic competitiveness in the world, meaning forget about the earth, it's all about money, even if we overharvest and all of its resources are used to further kill the planet. That stance represents a dramatic change from the Obama administration's NSS, which placed climate change as one of the main dangers facing the nation, and made building international consensus on containing global warming and national security priority. The U.S. government used to be on the right track for climate change and ecological preservation, but now has taken a drastic turn since January 2017. All of this research is from The Guardian. Ever since the 2016 election, the climate and health of the planet has been put on the back burner. For our new administration believes global warming is a hoax, and that because we go through a winter means it doesn't exist. You heard me, right? Just take a look at some of the POTUS tweets. We have, the entire country is freezing. We desperately need a heavy dose of global warming and fast. Ice cap size reaches all-time high. It's freezing and snowing in New York. We need global warming. The concept of global warming was created by and for the Chinese in order to make U.S. manufacturing non-competitive. So after hearing about the differences of these countries' efforts to sustain the climates as they're supposed to be, you may wonder, but how can we help? Some things people pass by in life can have a huge impact on our environment, such as the 3 R's: reduce, reuse, and recycle. We can also lower our personal fossil fuel consumption, grow your own food, reduce wasteful water usage, and keep our natural waters clean. And finally, speak out to those who can make a national and global change. Make your voice heard. Tonight we've talked about our natural climates and environments in France and America, as well as the actions that humans are taking to conserve them, or the actions we should be taking. All in all, it comes down to the fact that no matter what kind of climate you live in, we have this one planet that has lasted billions of years. As a population of species, we've done so much damage.
It's so sad. It cut like 5 seconds before you were completely done. Are you okay with that, or would you like to read again your?
How important is it?
I think you're fine.